what's the difference between economics on paper and economics in Nigeria? Because I think you go to school, you figure out what
Yeah.
economics is, and then you come to Nigeria and the rules don't apply.
That's a very apt question. The economists will tell you ceteris paribus, all things being equal. If this happens, this will happen, all things being equal. And of course, most people within the Nigerian economic space will always apply what they call the neoclassical economic theory. And the neoclassical economic theory, of whatever economic theory that you apply, must have assumptions and basis for it to operate and work from question to answer. I'll give you an example. Look at what happened at the MPC meeting at the central bank. The assumption is for you to rein in inflation, for you to achieve price stability, forex stability, you have to mop up liquidity within the system and then reduce the purchasing power of the people to purchase the dollar. But that is not true. And those assumptions do not hold when it comes to a state like Nigeria. In economies where those things could actually provide and produce good results, 95 to 99% of the economy of those countries, all the operators and participators are captured within the formal economy. So that when you apply one tool or instrument to do one thing or the other, you may likely achieve success, even if it is 60%. And again, leadership in those places and their institutions are very strong and transparent. You will not see a Joe Biden asking the governor of the central bank in America to print $20 trillion and hand over to him for him to go and spend without any reason behind it. In the US, you will not see Joe Biden looting $10 billion, appointing his sons and his daughters into place of power, dishing out monies anyhow you like without accounting for it. Of course, we heard Michelle Obama tell us that even in the White House, there are limits to what they can eat and what they can drink. If you go beyond budget, you pay from your personal money. So the assumptions in those other countries hold clearly true because those assumptions are that transparent institutions, transparent governance, people are accountable, these ones are very, very strong. And when you put A, B will come out. But in Nigeria, it's not the case. Even if you squeeze out all the liquidities in the market, deny liquidity to honest entrepreneurs and all those stuff, what of the 43 trillion, 45 trillion naira that have been budgeted to be expended in the fiscal year 2024 in the hand of those from the federal government to the state and local government? How do we stop them from deploying half of it, as they usually do annually, to buy the dollar at whatever rate that they can get it and hide it either under their basement or use it to buy houses in Dubai, in Maryland, in New York, in London? Of course, it's estimated that over $18 billion worth of properties in Dubai belong to Nigerians. How did they fund it? It's taking naira from here to buy dollar and ship it out to go on there. So economics is a social science, and the principle still holds good. The assumptions still hold good. In an economy where there are transparency, where we have transparency, there is institutional strength, where you have leadership that are very transparent, very accountable, very honest, very sincere, very patriotic. But where you have an economy where the institutions are very, very weak, where you have, sorry for my use of word, political bandits all over the space, seeking for what they will steal, what they will destroy, and what they will kill, it cannot hold. Sometimes I feel sorry for those guys at the Central Bank of Nigeria. Nnaemeka also is new. With all due respect, he has played well in the private sector. But I think he's grappling with forces. And of course, it's not everybody that will have the kind of forthrightness and boldness like the few of us to look the powers in the eyes and tell them what they should hear and what they're supposed to hear in very unpalatable terms. You don't romance mediocrity, you don't romance wickedness, you don't romance iniquity. You say it the way it is, just like Prophet Micah's of this world. It may be painful, it may be hard, but when they hear the truth and know the truth, it's the truth that you know and apply that will set us free. He has been trying as much as possible to be very diplomatic, use instruments that are not supposed to be used for some. What is grappling with is just 10% of the problem. 90% of the problems are on the physical side. And until we address those fundamental issues, anybody telling you that what we are getting now is what we are seeing now, just elixir and opiates. I tell you an example. Somebody has cancer or a tumor in the brain, and the tumor sometimes causes slight or needle headaches. Of course, if you take analgesics, the headache may subside. But until the tumor is uprooted from the source, the headache cannot be permanently cured. Basically, all that Nnaemeka has been doing since he was appointed is trying to apply a laser and opiate to a matter that is fundamental and foundational, have not been tackled at the root.
All right, then. So let's go into the belly of the matter. This administration has been in governance for about a year. Now, Nigerians, particularly those that call the radio station, many adjudge this administration to be somewhat pretentious. From your perspective, how do you adjudge expenses, policies, budgeting, investments, if any, or at least attempts to gain investments into the Nigerian economy today to boost it?
To be honest, I see what they are trying to do, just like a 60-year-old pot-bellied man trying to claim that he wants to run and break the world record that has been set by Usain Bolt. No matter how much he tries, no matter how much intentions, whatever his intentions are, no matter how much he tries to motivate himself and then nudge himself on, he cannot break the record. Everything that is needed to break that record is not there, and that is factual. Basically, anybody who says that they are being pretentious cannot be faulted, because their actions do not in any way belly their body languages. Their body languages are totally, their actions are totally out of sync with their rhetorics. How can a government that wrote in its manifesto right from day one, oh, we are going to remove subsidy, we are going to tackle corruption, we are going to implement the Orasanya report, and then you assumed office, the first thing you did was to increase the number of ministries from 42 to 45. For the first sign that Nigerians will have seen that you meant well was reduce the ministry from 42 to 20. Now, the next thing, you have a presidential fleet that was bogus, cost us about 52 billion naira to service and maintain annually. You did not reduce it. You appointed, look at the media space. You have SA Media, SSA Digital, SSA this, SSA this, all manner of convoluted titles just to make sure that we create this I chop, we chop mentality of satisfying all hungers on a political crony. It is not right. In a country that is bleeding, in a country where you have today 197 million Nigerians who are actually in poverty, for those who do not know, over 92% of Nigerians earn less than 100,000 naira a month. NDIC have a record which was established in 2021. Out of the 117 million accounts in the banking industry with BVN, only about 0.6%, less than 1% have up to 500,000 naira deposits in it. As of today, based on the World Bank indicator of $64 per month, which is the minimum threshold for poverty. 197 million Nigerians are under poverty for no just cause, for no cause. You saw the report of Nestle. Nestle had suffered a loss of 195 billion naira in 2023. Shareholders' fund wiped out. They are in negative of 78 billion naira. Actually, they made a profit in the year, but they got wiped out by factors that are exogenous to their business. They did their business well, transparently, produced, manufactured, sold, created tens of thousands of direct jobs and hundreds of thousands of indirect jobs. Did everything right, but they got wiped out by external factors that were beyond them. External factors caused by the profligacy, the criminality, the irresponsibility and incompetence of those in the 3 tiers and 3 arms of government in Nigeria. Their actions in every ramification does not show people who are sincere. They handed over 167 billion naira to the National Assembly. I took our time to look at, which is very atrocious. 70 billion relocation allowance. Are they stranded? Are they homeless? 40 billion to buy SUVs in a country where we don't have roads. 57 billion to do rice palliatives when they did not even share the rice. And the most atrocious thing, look at the budget of 2024. It does not show people who actually meant what they are saying. Budgeted 334 billion for National Assembly, up from 120 billion the previous year. And if you look at that as a percentage of the budgets of 28.7 trillion, you will see it's about 1.2%. Even 1.8% of the budgeted revenue of 16 trillion. Compared to the US, the budget of the US National Assembly, total, both Rep and Senate, was $3 billion, 2024, $3 billion, compared to national budget of 6.9 trillion, which is 0.004%. If you are to apply the same principles from the same democracy that we borrowed from in the US. National Assembly should not get any allocation more than 15 billion naira. But here they have 344 billion naira that most of them will be looted and used to pursue dollar. That is where we have found ourselves. And of a truth, if we are to make this country work, we should go back to the 1963 constitutional framework. That constitutional framework that made public office to be part-time, that attached the pegs of public office to that of the civil service. At a time, we had men like Sir Louis Odumegwu, reputed to be the richest man in Africa as a parliamentarian. At a time, parliamentarians were part-time, unicameral. If these guys sincerely want us to believe them and they sacrifice and tie our belt the way they're asking us to, they should look at what's happening in Argentina. They should look at what the guy is doing there, the new president, the conservative president. Reduce cost of governance. I say it to anybody who cares to listen, and I will prove it if given the chance. 50% of whatever is budgeted at the federal or state level, whatever they put there as a actually money is meant to be looted. 2015, they came up with this bogus, exciting idea, we're going to do zero budgeting. At the end of the day, there was no zero budgeting. What they do every year is flesh out the old budget, add 20% or 30% on the old expenditure, which they may not even have incurred, and then they will pass it, and the looting continues. If you bring a KPMG or a PwC or a Deloitte to help the MDAs to prepare their budget, I tell you, the recurrent expenditure of 8.8 trillion will come down to 5 trillion naira, because most of the things they put there are things that are meant to be stolen over time. What is clearly killing this economy is not honest transactions, is not honest import or export bills. What is killing this economy and what is destroying Nigeria are the twin demons of corruption and insecurity. And these two are the offspring of the flawed and fraudulent constitutional and physical framework that we are currently operating. The only way we can fix Nigeria is to execute massive constitutional and physical reforms back to the 1963 constitution, and then massive electoral reform in such a way that Nigerian election will be transparent and credible, just like we had it in 1993. When you do this, men with passion, men with sincerity, men with knowledge, men with skills, men with competencies, we go into the political cycle and compete to play the kind of roles people like Dr. Michael Okpara, Obafemi Awolowo, and Ahmadu Bello did sacrificially in building an economy that was growing at an average of 9% per annum, with insecurity not seen anywhere within those periods. Our most golden period was 1960 to 1963, and most of us still weren't there here then, but we longed for Nigeria to go back to those days.
Okay, so I mean, I really love the robustness of your argument. And I guess Nigerians want to also figure out what your perspective is on the issue of subsidy. So subsidy must go was the bullet that further decreased the standard of living and increased everyday commodities. Now, the government, this administration also says that what they did is what any other political party during campaign would have done if they had gotten into office. But Nigerians also make an argument of removing the subsidy should have been properly evaluated to determine whether it was necessary, its implications, and how this would affect Nigeria or affect the common man, given the difficulty at hand already experienced by Nigerians on a day-to-day level. What should the government have done, given that every other political party during the campaign season said that they were going to take off a subsidy? Should this administration have done something different, or should be doing something different?
Removal of subsidy was not what the economy to collapse. As at the time this government came to power, the official exchange rate was 460. Parallel market was doing 750. And that is the truth. And the currency, the devaluation of the naira over a period of 8 years under Buhari wouldn't have happened if we had not experienced the worst form of corruption and larceny under that 8 years atrocious governance. Jonathan left power at a time when the exchange rate was 199. If you look at history, for 16 years of PDP rule, from 1999 to 2015, Naira lost only 111 Naira to $1. It lost at 8 Naira to $1 under Obasanjo from 88 to 124 at the Dutch auction market, and then lost 78 Naira under Jonathan. Net, the Naira lost only 111 Naira. And if you look at the dollar inflow and the dollar outflow that happened under Buhari, total dollar inflow into Nigeria, including borrowing and the foreign reserve that generated, was 635 billion. I didn't even include the informal inflow that came in through dollar cash from Nigerians and diaspora, which is estimated to be actually 50% of the former window. So net, the total import bill through the official cycle, honest transactions, including education and health bills, we are about $451 billion. So net, Nigeria should have had excess of $184 billion in our position. There is no way we will have had the Naira losing value. In fact, Naira should have even been stable at 199 or even gained if the government of Buhari had been very prudent in economic management. Today, if you look at the global commodity market, a liter of the PMS, FOB, offshore loan, is selling for 69 cents. Even if you apply the foreign exchange rate, that as at the time of Tinubu took over power, and even if they had done the right thing, even with total devaluation and removal of subsidy, a liter of the PMS will have been selling for 317 naira. If Nigerians are buying a liter of the PMS at 317 naira or even 500 naira, they will not complain. If Nigerians are buying a liter of the diesel at 400 or 500, they won't complain. Basically, what happened? Removal of subsidy is a very good decision. Even the margin, the FX market, very, very good decision. Were we not paying subsidies even when the market was very stable? We're even paying more subsidies. The truth is, there is no dollar in the system to shore up the supply side of the dollar for legitimate transaction, and they know the right things to do. If they had done the right things, see, it is one thing to remove subsidy, it is one thing to match the market, but it's another thing to also do the other things that will support those decisions. And what were the other things that they will have done? Cut the cost of governance, rein in corruption, stop the oil free. Under Jonathan, 2010-2011, we had production of about 2.6 million barrels of crude oil and condensate every day. Under Buhari, thing came down to less than 1 million. What happened within those periods is yet to be explained. In 2019, the Auditor General of the Federation gave a report of how we lost 17 million barrels of crude oil that could not be accounted for, 10.4 billion. It was carried by Al Jazeera. It was carried by Reuters. Till today, nothing has happened. So basically, what is driving the problem here are the twin. Under Buhari came to power. When he came to power, insecurity was restricted to the northeast and to the north central. Some pockets of in the north central. After wasting and squandering $27 billion, former general, as security expenditure, insecurity has gone to every part of Nigeria. Farmers can no longer go to the farm to produce foods and commodities that will help us to stabilize commodity prices. Food inflation rate in Nigeria today has gone out so high. Why is it so high? Farmers cannot go to the farm across every part of Nigeria because of kidnappers, because of bandits, because of unknown government. So these are the issues. The issues is not removing subsidy. The issues is not managing the market. The issue is the irresponsible governance in the governance space in Nigeria. See, without sounding immodest, if you hand over this country to me as a person, or any governor, or any state to govern as a governor, I tell you, look at what Alex is doing in Abia State. That's a typical example, even within the limited space. What did Alex do? There was a particular place, and from a place called Okigwe in Imo State. Before now, it is cheaper, it is shorter to get to my village from Enugu Airport than from Owerri. But because of insecurity, over the last 7 years, I've been using Owerri Airport. But Alex Oti came. The governors of Abia and Imo could not stop the insecurity with Alex. Alex Oti came within 5 months. He cleared most of the dens where the kidnappers operate. Over 80 corpses decomposed corpses we have found in those locations. Today, people can apply that road. Go and look. I know a lot of investors today who are clamoring, who are begging to go to Abia State. Just because of one man who has that political will, who has that integrity capital. So it is one thing, any honest leadership, and we beg them. We are not saying you should not steal your fact. Take your fact, steal it, eat it, but invest it here in Nigeria. You cannot take resources here and you take it outside here. Create problems. Your children are happy outside there, and you leave the rest unfortunate Nigerians who cannot cater for themselves to die in misery. The other day, yesterday, I saw on Twitter space a family that was raided by bandits in Katsina State. Everybody was taken away except the husband, and the man was wailing. In a village, Wura in Katsina State, here is a state that produced a president that was here in power for 8 years, squandered $27 billion. Here he could not provide security for his own people. The problem here is leadership, not the policies. The policies are good, rightly applied, but there are other factors that should support those policies, and which they are not doing. Corruption and insecurity has actually been on the increase.
Okay.